We're in conversation this morning with Russ and Ramona Elliott here at their home in Golden. This wasn't always your home, though. Could you, Russ, and then Ramona, could you tell us where you were born and how you came to be in Golden?
I was born in Hamilton, Ontario in 1930. And I was raised pretty well in Peterborough and 40 miles north of Peterborough, in a little village called Apsley. My wife calls it Apsilly. Yeah, the Apsley Bancroft area, it's tourist, lots of lakes. And I progressed from there after working with my dad in the bush. I was 13, I believe, when he needed me to pull the crosscut in the bush. And summertime, you had to work in the sawmill in the summertime because you didn't have machinery then, you had the horses. And from there, I worked for Ontario Hydro for a while, and when that was shutting down, they had 150 men to a camp. When that shut down, my dad said, let's take my old 37 Ford and head out to Alberta and see my brother Duke and brother John. So we did, and we come out there in 1949 and went to Forestburg, and that's where Duke was, working for the farmers there. Had a little party there at Ramona's mom and dad's place. Had some music, and I was chording on a laptop guitar for my dad. And I knew the songs very well, but there was a little girl out in the kitchen with her head around the corner winking at me. And I was making a few mistakes, and my dad said, don't you know those songs yet? Anyway, next day we went to Edmonton, looking for work, and that didn't pan out. Came back to Forestburg. So anyway, at Forestburg, I worked in the coal mines pretty well all the time. Worked 5-6 months on oil rigs. And we got married in 1950 and progressed from there. I was there about 6 years, I guess. And went looking for work, and I ended up in Golden, up in a Blaeberry. Little camp there. And that same winter of '56, I brought Ramona and the kids up in there to that camp, and she said, where in the hell are you taking me? I said, we're going to live right under that mountain up there. Oh, no, living under no mountain. But we did. We survived and raised the kids there for that winter, and moved on out to the OB campground area there. We had a little cabin there, and that's when we brought Harold out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Harold worked in the planer mill there. In the spring, we moved on into Golden, and we lived right where the telephone building is there now.
Okay.
And there was a little shanty there we lived in. And progressed from there. Worked on the Trans-Canada Highway for a year and a half, I guess. Foreman, labor foreman there. Went to Rogers. Used to have to go in and out by train. And I went from there to Jasper, and they wanted me to go to northern Alberta, and I quit. Back to Golden. So we bought a place out in the Blaeberry there in 1960. We bought the farm out there. We were that's where we ended up raising our kids. We still miss it. But
I don't.
I do. I liked it out there. I liked the view of the mountains there. Golden's been a pretty good place for us. Been happy. Kids are healthy and happy, so can't ask for too much more.
No, you sure can't. It's true.
So we're ended up, we bought a place on 5th Street, went from there over to this place, and we're happy here. Ramona was scared of the stairway, it was right off the kitchen.
Oh, yes.
And she
I
heard
take
it
a
and
fall once in a while.
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
home there
that's
one
not
day
good.
and she said, one of these days I'm going to be down to the foot of that stairway. And
Yeah.
I said, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get a place with 1 floor.
Yeah.
So that's how we ended up here, and we've been here since, when did we come here, Mom?
We've been here. Come here in
101? 1901?
we come here. We spent our 50th here, so that's 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah.
Time goes, doesn't it?
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're busy doing woodwork and doing our walk every morning, a couple of miles.
Yeah. Keeping busy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Ramona, what about you? Can you tell us where you were born? And
I was born in Forsberg, Alberta. I had a twin brother, Roland, and when he was 3.5, he got whooping cough, and the roads were blocked, and he died. Then 3 weeks later, the baby died with convulsions. I can still see sitting under the table watching them, putting them in one hot mustard bath into another one. Other than that, I lived there until we moved away. Stayed right there, went to school. Not much doing. One little town.
yeah.
And neither parent drove, so we never went anywhere. My
So-
dad was from Norway, so he would talk Norway, but he would never let us talk Norway. He wouldn't teach us nothing.
Is that right?
Yeah. So,
Barbara.
yeah. Yeah, there was 2 girls and 5 boys.
Family, this about the normal size of a family back then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Bigger families.
yeah. You don't have the big families now.
No,
I wouldn't want them.
no. Couldn't afford them, maybe.
Yeah, it's hard enough at Christmas time with 22 grandkids.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, not much. I didn't do too much, did I? Going,
I thought you did a lot.
oh well, yeah, raising kids and stuff.
That is a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
We know.
And that when we lived in that little cabin of Fransons out there, it was a Split Creek, or where the OB campground was. And we at wash day come, we played cards. See who had to haul wash water, because Harold was staying with us. And he ended up having to haul all the wash water. And that was a lot, because I had to wash by hand, the scrub board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your cupboards were well built. Orange crates.
Orange crates. Yeah, well, what the heck, you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
But it was fun. Yeah. But the night he went playing music and Harold and I were there, we went to try and turn the light on, gas lamp, and it wouldn't work, so we opened the door and we threw it. Yeah. So then we were sitting there and we could hear something outside. we thought, what was it? And the next morning we went out to look because we had a little thing on the side to keep our stuff cold. It was a bear.
Oh.
Was looking for something to eat.
Oh no.
We didn't open the door.
Good plan.
Yeah. Other than that.
So Russ, when you went into the Blaeberry, who did you work for?
I worked for Pollock Brothers from Edmonton. It wasn't a very good, it didn't turn out that well. I don't think they made enough money to pay everybody. Yeah, I worked there, and then I worked, in the spring we moved down to the OB there, and Victor Franson had a sawmill there, and I worked for him. Falling under Goat Mountain there, I fell all the timber in there. And Harmon was the sawyer, Harmon Franson, and his brother Bert was on the cap, and doing all the skidding. And then when we moved to town, I worked for Victor again. They had a little mill down by the river there. He was a good man. Good family, actually. I worked for him making ties up above Donald, and a little lake up in there. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway.
Dryers Lake.
Dryers?
That's it, yeah. We used to get chased by the moose in the morning. They'd meet us on that hill. And Vic had an old Dodge panel and two-wheel drive. He'd try to get up that hill and they'd spin out. Either you meet the moose. That was her country, and she'd chase you back down the hill. Yeah, man. Quite a thing there. Lots of snow in them days. What it is now.
Yeah.
You know, you'd get 3 or 4 feet of snow in the bush. Yeah.
Made for hard working in the bush, I'm sure, having that much snow to work through.
And you didn't have the money for good clothing like they do now.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
have good boots.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That would make
Yeah,
for
it
a
was-
long day.
Yeah, especially the old power saws didn't start too good, and you'd be on a stump there and your fingers freezing and yeah, oh well, we made that all right.
Yeah.
Long as it wasn't just us, it was everybody else.
Yeah.
That's the way it was. When we were in that camp that winter up at Pollock's Mill, I remember, we'd
Oh, yeah.
finally get some money and everybody go to town. In the spring, you couldn't get back up that road for gumbo, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Not like it is now, just gumbo. You get stuck, and you'd be underneath them all. They had a couple of Army Jeep 4-wheel drive, and they'd get stuck. And they'd break the drive shaft off, and you'd be up to there trying to fix it in the mud.
Yeah.
There was somebody went down that Blaeberry River from the falls there. What was the name of them falls?
Thompson Falls?
Is it? I think that is the name.
Could
Yeah.
be.
Down near the
Yeah.
bottom
Yeah,
of the
very
road.
big, yeah,
Yeah.
the bridge was gone.
Well, they used to they'd drive down from the camp and then you'd go across on logs, trees that fall across there, and you'd walk over and they had another one on the other side, and you'd go from there to town to get the groceries. Lots of fun.
Sounds like lots of fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
how
it
often
was-
did you get to town?
Well, not that often.
No?
No. Maybe once a month the women would get to go.
Yeah.
But other than that, they stayed home.
Bacon bread.
I still bake bread.
That's a good thing.
Tell them about how you ladies made up meals.
Oh, that was in that camp there. Nobody had any money or the groceries were, so one family she had potatoes, so I got potatoes and gave a loaf of bread, and the other one would have eggs, so they got a loaf of bread, and we got enough eggs.
Venison.
And venison, another family, and that's how we lived up there.
Help each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had some wild horses up there, and if you peeled potatoes, you put the peelings out for them to eat. And they came to the house, right to the house to
Really?
eat.
They had a little school there. Our kids went to school there, actually.
That was Mrs. She lived across the river from us in La Blueberry. Oh. What was her name?
Is that Mrs. Barnes?
Yeah,
Yes.
she was the teacher up there. They didn't stay, the school didn't stay that long.
No. There was only a handful of kids.
And then we moved to town. There's not much in town when we came. Barlow's store and Wong's store. It's grown a lot since.
Yeah. Actually, they were pretty good days. Some good times to remember. Playing music.
Yes.
Always music.
And we'll talk about that because I think that's something that people would be interested in. But I remember when we had our first conversation with you, Russ. You talked about having worked and lived maybe in the Beaverfoot sometime.
Yeah, out of field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my brother John had an old cat, and we went up there. We were logging for
Scott.
what was his name?
Al Scott.
Al Scott. Yeah, he went from here to Revelstoke. But snow, my God, there was 6 feet of snow up at when you got up where you were actually up in the bush from the mill. And they had quite a camp there. There was actual houses and a cookhouse there that was big enough to have dances in there and stuff like that. Yeah.
The snow was so deep when you went out of your house, because we lived up on the hill. If you missed the first step, you boop, boop, boop all the way down. Oh, that was something else.
Yeah, that was the last logging, I believe, that was ever done in the park. Because come spring, he owed us some money and he said he was bankrupt, so we couldn't get paid. And while they were cleaning up, they had some trees that they had to fall around the mill or something. Anyway, the power saw caught fire and they had a fire in there.
Oh my.
Yeah, and that's why the park said that's it, no more. So they shut them down.
Kids all went to field school. This was funny. And they never said that they were cousins, eh? So they all went, and she asked them questions. And finally, when she sent a report card out, she got back 2 different names. So she asked them, and they just laughed. And they said, yeah, we're all cousins.
That was John.
Poor teacher, you know. Jack and Joan's kids, they were bad when they all got together.
Who used to drive them out to field?
Francis Scott drove the kids to school.
Yeah, that was a mean winter, that one. But there again, some good memories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being there.
Yeah.
That Misquay is just out from the Blueberry
Right.
on the other side there. It was 12 miles up from field to that camp.
So it was 12 miles like up over into the Amisqui, into that area?
Yeah, from field you climbed quite a bit and went down into the valley on the other side there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting for people to, first of all, recognize the different places that logging took place. Like
Yeah.
most of the people who live in Golden today don't know that there were camps at, Split Creek that, was a community,
Yeah.
and at OB and, places like the Amisqui that logging camps were actually set up where people lived and worked and until the work played out, and then the camp moved,
Yeah.
and so.
Yeah, and then we went, we took that old cat and we worked for, I'll never think of his name now.
Amy Gendron.
Amy Gendron. And down at Spill Machine. And on the, when you're going south, up on the mountain on the left-hand side, they were up there, he had a mill up there. And again, no pay.
That seemed to be a theme.
Anyway, it was pretty dangerous because it was so steep, that valley above the mill, and I was doing the falling, and there was lots of rocks and boulders up the gully where he had to go with the cat, and he'd loosen a rock and it'd just take off and tumble down the valley, and the mill was right down there, and one big rock went. By the time we were up quite a little ways there, and the big rock took off and it flew right over top of the sawmill. Never touched a thing.
Wow. Luckily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I never had to limb the trees or top them because when it was steep on both sides and the little tree would just worm its way right down and be all limbed.
That's a bonus.
That's in the days you had good legs.
Yeah.
I wish I had them back. Yeah, didn't work too long there. Yeah, worked quite a few places, come to think of it, I guess.
Where did you finish out your working career, Russ?
I worked for 18 years for Evans, looking after the log yards, Donald and Golden. Had quite a crew there for a while. We had about 28 men and all the equipment and scales to look after. Things like that. That was quite interesting. Actually, I missed that job when I got under the weather there. Got some health problems. Caught a virus. Paralyzed me. But I was pretty lucky to get out of that one. Still walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I enjoyed that job. Yeah. And they shut down the mill in Donald there. Can't remember what year that would be.
96.
Was it? Yeah, they moved everything away over to Rollstroke area there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was another job. After that, when I caught that Guillain-Barré, it was called, syndrome,
Yeah.
and to make my legs work, I actually went around cutting grass and doing yard work and anything that would make my legs work, because I was off the job then. I did that for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I worked, the hospital was actually looking for somebody for the yard work, so I worked there full
Well,
summer.
that's what you worked there. That's when you caught that virus. Shortly after.
Actually, yeah, that's right. I worked there first. Yeah. And you had to take 5 different shots to work there at the time. And I don't know what all they were, but I know one was a flu shot. And after I got the virus, I got letters from how they found me, I don't know, but I got letters from the States and Prince George and Edmonton from people that had the virus.
Okay.
And it's a bad thing. Paralyzed you.
Yeah.
But then I found out from a nurse in Edmonton that she said that she had it and that there was a good possibility that they figured that the flu shot could give you the Guillain-Barré.
Oh, and that's why people were so interested in communicating
And
with
that's
you.
why he can't have
Yeah.
the flu shot anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they won't give me one in case you get it back.
Right.
The nurse said that one time we were going to went there and and they were just getting ready to take the shot, and I said, do they know, does she know that he's had Guillain-Barré? And she ran over there, and that was it. She said, I ain't taking that responsibility.
Yeah. And so do most people not fare as well as you have with having the disease?
Some of them are completely,
They're still paralyzed.
yeah.
There was one
Yeah.
down in Ontario there, remember? All she could move was her eyes.
Is
Wow.
that right?
Yeah, it's bad.
You were really fortunate then.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Well,
think I'm in this in our family. Determination.
Yeah.
Yeah, the doctor here, his name has left me.
Oh, Louis Watts?
Louis
Oh,
Watts.
yes.
He knew finally after I phoned him on a weekend that it was something more than just my back problem. He said you get in here and within 3 hours I was in Calgary.
Yeah.
And if it wouldn't be that he got me quick enough, because the more
Yeah.
it's in you, then the more. That's when my legs are no good now.
Yeah.
From they suck all the blood out of you and give you new blood.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow. It sounds
3
like a
times they
grueling
did that.
process.
3 times they did that. And you could see the blood coming out and the cold blood going in. Oh, God, it was
Oh.
cold. He had blankets on me.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Margot was sitting beside me, and the thing monitored, and it tells you blood pressure going down, blood pressure going down, blood pressure going down. Well, she was gone. I thought, where the heck did she go? She went and phoned home. So, yeah, it was scary. So
Yeah.
they got on the blower and got a specialist in there, and he said, stop it now.
Yeah.
When I went in, I was mostly Irish, I think. And when I come out, I don't know what I was.
But you came out, so that's the main thing.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a lot of things go wrong with me over the years, but I'm still going. Had a couple of lower back operations, 2 of them, 1 neck operation. Numerous things that I guess everybody has.
And for a man your age and the health issues that you've had, you're in really good
Oh,
health.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in walking,
Yes.
and I've been, well, Ramona and I have been doing that for
40 years now.
a long time.
Yeah.
Since we were out in the Blaber, we used to walk that 4-mile loop whenever, if you weren't too busy working.
Yeah, that's right.
On the place there. And my dad, we had a cabin there, my dad and my sister. I said, oh, they want to live out there. I said, sure. So I fixed the cabin all up, put a well in and everything. Finally he left, he said, you know, all you do is work. He said, he wanted to play music too. So he moved into town, and Brother John had the Pinewood Motel at that time. So he moved in there. He said, oh, you're just too busy for me. I was still busy, I like it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine not being busy.
Oh, I can't sit.
Yeah.
Even when the TV's on. That's why I put music on.
Yeah.
We have some neighbors here that we don't know if they're home or they're gone or
Never see them.
they're
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like to do stuff.
And there's always music on in your home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that, Russ, goes back to your past playing music all over the place, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you said that you started as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
You were in a musical house.
Dad used to, when I was, I guess I'd be about 13, something like that, he used to play for the tourists on the lakes there. So in the evening, we'd take the boat and go out on the bay there, and he'd play his Hawaiian music, and I'd be chording for him on another guitar. And that the sound would carry on the water all around. You'd see the fires come, they'd come outside to listen. They'd light their bonfires, and that's kind of where it started. went to a party, well, visiting people, I should say. And one old fellow said, "That son of yours, he must be able to play that thing Garfield." My dad's name was Garfield. So Dad says, "Here, have you been picking that thing when I'm not home?" And I had actually learned to play a little bit of steel guitar rag. But Dad, he couldn't get over that. Yeah, and actually the music fed the kids a few times, and ourselves, made a little bit. Yeah.
And
Played
who,
all up and down the valley. Yeah. I guess the furthest would be played in Vernon and
Cranbrook,
what was the name of that green?
Village Green.
Village Green in Vernon. Played there. Played in Salmon Arm. Played as far south as Cranbrook and
Yeah.
all up and down the valley. Different people that I played with.
and different groups that you played with. Can you name
Yeah.
us a few of them and who you played with in those groups?
Yeah, to start off with, I played with Harmon and Bert Franson and their band.
Wasn't George Alfano in it?
And yeah, we had George Alfano and his brother Dominic. Yeah, we had a pretty good band back then. Lots of violin music, I liked it. Lots of pep. But I always stuck in my few Hawaiian tunes. The older people loved it. So, yeah. Yeah, like that. I went from there to, God, I can't remember them all. With Jack Leslie, I guess. I was playing in the old Legion.
With Conal Cutlass.
Yeah, with Cono. Remember Cono Cutlass? Yeah, he had V-Lane service, right where the 7-Eleven is. And we were playing in the old Legion, and this little guy come in, and a great big guy with him was Magnus Ross.
Oh, yeah.
And he introduced me to Jack, and he said, "Do you mind if Jack comes up and sings a song?" I said, "Heck, I don't care." And so he sang a couple of Hank Snow tunes, and him and I played together then. Had a band for,
Till he got sick.
yeah, and again after that.
Yeah.
But in between we had different people.
Then you were played with Larry Pickering, Ralph Greenlee.
Yeah, we played in the old Big Bend.
Yeah.
They used to line up outside. They couldn't get in there to hear the Larry Pickering singing.
Is that right?
He was a good
Oh,
good
he was
voice.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the Gymkhana days, and it was Barney Bartison and Danny Fredericks,
Yes.
Yeah.
and Jack Leslie and you, I
Yeah.
think is what I remember.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember them all. There was quite a few. But Barney and Jack and Danny went from. Finally, ended up with
Then
Margie
you played with, he died, he's done. Had the photo shop here in town.
Oh,
Oh,
Nick Helby.
yeah.
Oh,
Nick,
yeah.
Nick too.
oh,
He was a good drummer.
oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
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 what was the most fun you ever had playing? Your best story about playing with
Well, I think it would be in Parson. Yeah. We were playing there. I can't remember, but I think it might have been New Year's Eve. Some holiday anyway. We were playing there. There was a store there at that time, and the fellow that had the store had a big dog, and the ladies used to make a supper on the side of the hall there. And come 12 o'clock, had to stop and eat. So we were doing the supper waltz, and they put our suppers on the edge of the stage, and this fellow let his dog in. And the dog was cleaning up the suppers while we were doing the supper waltz.
Oh, he was
He was waltzing through the food.
yeah. Oh,
That was funny. We couldn't play for laughing. Yeah. Who's the couple from down the valley that's playing yet?
Travis and Larry Pickering.
Yeah, they're playing, but the older.
the old Heinz.
Oh yes, Mel and Sharon.
Yeah.
Mel and Sharon
Well,
Hines.
Mel and Sharon wanted me to play again with them, and it was to do with putting it on record. By then I wasn't playing anymore, and my stuff is so heavy. My guitar in the case is about 70 pounds, and so is the amplifier. So
Wow, yeah.
I said yes to them here. I'd give it a go, and then after they left, I said, "What am I doing?" So I wish that I would have played a few tunes with them, but I didn't want to start going down the valley to practice, and you have to do that to make it decent.
Yeah.
So I phoned them up, and they were disappointed, but
Yeah.
can't keep on forever.
No, you certainly cannot. But you do play a little at home still.
I still, once in a while, go in there, and I got some
Mostly in the winter time because he gets bored, eh? So.
Yeah.
music from the Nashville. He used to put out everything, all his tunes and everything was on tape, but there was no steel guitar in it, so there'd be an open place for you to. So I play along with that. Something to do.
Yeah. And that's not all you do in your spare time, Russ. You've got a little hobby room out here where you create some wonderful woodworking creations.
Yeah, cedar chests. I think I've made close to 50 cedar chests over the years. I started that in the Blueberry.
Yeah.
I got them out on the island and down in Ontario and Alberta and all over. Most of the girls that's got them, I asked them, "You're still using the cedar chest?" And every one of them, so far.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mom still has hers filled.
Yeah. I swore up and down I wouldn't make any more, but because of the dust. But I made 3 this winter.
If he gets bored, he's got to do something. So the shop is a good place.
Yes.
Yeah, like little rocking horses. And gonna have a yard sale here on the 18th, if it don't rain.
Yeah.
It's not going to rain.
We got a bunch of, the golf clubs are going.
Uh-oh.
Time.
Yeah, my neck and shoulders are they hurt too much.
Yeah.
And Mom's back.
I can't do it, so I might as well get rid of them.
Did you were golfing? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She always hit that ball straight down. It never went very high, but it went straight ahead.
Everybody else hit the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't see any fun in it, really.
Yeah, you have to
Chasing
enjoy
a
it.
little ball around the field.
But you were getting your walk in.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like the golf course up here, the way they got it now. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
We
course.
It gets pretty expensive for us, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
we
Yeah,
go-
it's not something that the average family can afford to do. Is to
No.
have 2 people, that are golfing. It's-
Once in a while
it's
we go
expensive.
down to Spur Valley and we like that.
But then you got $25 for the dog. Got to put him in the kennel because
Yes.
you're going for the day.
Yeah.
And then you eat down there, so it's expensive.
Yeah. It's more like a treat than
Yeah.
something you can do
Yeah,
Yeah.
for exercise. Yeah.
yeah.
And could you tell us a little bit about your kids? You mentioned earlier that you had some. So could you tell us a little bit about them, their names, and maybe who they married and what they're doing now?
Oh, Marilyn isn't married. She was. She's had 3 boys. Margot is married to Jim McKay. She was married to Dawn Howe. And they had 2 girls. Susie, she married to Ken. She was married to
Bill Pingal.
Pengali.
Yeah.
And they were too young. And it didn't turn out. So then she married Ken Lehman, and they got a boy and a girl. Okay.
And
that was
Randy.
Randy, oh yes. My number one son, as I always call him. He has a boy and a girl. He's married to Jocelyn Williams. And then we got, now we have adopted Merle as a daughter-in-law, because we still call Dawn our son-in-law. So we ended up with her 2 girls. Our boy and a girl, I should say. And then Teresa had, Marilyn. Yeah, Russ has 3. 2 girls and a boy. That's Marilyn's oldest one. Then the second one has a boy and a girl, Tyler. Travis said he's never going to get married. Okay, so, and he's 37 years old, so I think he might never get married.
Yeah.
Charlene never had any children. She couldn't have any. Teresa had Christine, who passed away 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Bucky is in hockey, as everybody knows. Bucky. And then she's looking after Christine's little girl, and she's 5 now, Karma. That's Margot's, okay, and Marilyn's, and what do I think now?
Randy.
Susie has Kyle and Carla, and Kyle has a little girl, 6 months old. Susie just got back from seeing her. And then there's Randy, and Quentin has a little girl, and Samantha has 2, a boy and a girl. Who am I missing?
I think you've got them all.
Yeah,
I think so.
and then it keeps growing.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you ever happen to see Marilyn's youngest boy and his artwork,
On computer,
On
Travis Tritt.
No. I was going to write that down so I could look that up actually.
Yeah, Travis Tritt.
oh,
Actually, maybe I did see something about that.
amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I'm
And he goes
interested.
over to Indonesia and them places and does the paintings too.
Oh, is that right?
He at the children's hospital he built
I did see that
he
one.
he put one whole wall
Yeah.
for the children's hospital.
He
And-
is amazing.
They said now when the
Unreal.
kids come to that hospital, they've all smiled before they
Yeah.
see all these animals.
And he doesn't go by anything, he just starts painting. And he did one of Marilyn Monroe, and you'd swear to God that was a picture.
Is that right?
And he does all these murals on the walls and for
Yeah.
kids in the hospitals.
On canvas.
He's back home now, but he's going back over to,
He's got some more paintings, and while he's doing these paintings, he works with the orphanage.
Oh, good for him.
But he's not going to have any children, he said.
I'm sure that
Yeah.
he must get paid
Something for it.
for
Yes.
them, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would think that eventually he's gonna probably work into something pretty high up there.
Yeah.
He did a picture of this one girl, which took it really hard. Her dad was killed helping somebody else because they were picking on the person, and they killed him. And Travis did a big picture on canvas and presented it to her. You would swear it was real.
Is that right?
Yeah,
And where was that at?
in Vancouver.
Oh, in Vancouver that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, the art thing kind of worked down through the family too. My sisters were pretty good at art. I liked it. When I was in school, that's a long time ago. I only went till I was 13. But anyway, they used to, from Peterborough, they used to send a guy around. I can't remember what they would call him, but he came once a month to all the country schools and see how teachers are doing and the kids. And we had an art class there about once a week. So that one time they said, just draw whatever comes in your mind, you know. And right ahead of where I was sitting, there was a closet there, and I had a picture of Churchill smoking his cigar.
Oh, yes.
So I drew that, and I ended up, he took that picture, I never seen it again, but it was on the Peterborough paper, for God's sake. And they left it in the art school in Peterborough. So that was, like I say, it kind of drifted down through the families, and then of course Tyler.
Marilyn too likes drawing.
Yeah. So it's funny, and the same with music, all that sifts down through the
Yeah.
families, eh?
Yeah.
Now, Marilyn's the second oldest. He's singing and playing guitar, and
Oh, really?
of course Tyler, he was musical. So,
Yeah.
so it's funny how it goes, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think it's got a lot to do with the atmosphere. If you're raised in a musical family,
Yes.
there'll always be music around of some sort.
Yeah.
My mom used to sing, and she sang everywhere, you know. She,
I heard her.
yeah, and she
Good
sang
boy.
at home to us every day.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a lick of that talent at all, but
Didn't you?
I can turn on the radio, so I still have music in my life,
That's
for
me,
sure.
just turn on the radio.
Your mom had a great voice.
She did, yes. Yeah, she sure did.
Same with my sisters. Both sang. But they didn't do anything with it.
No.
Bella, you're being a pest.
Now, it sounds to me like you didn't have a whole lot of spare time with working and having 4 kids to look after. But did you play any sports like baseball? Did you get involved in any kind of sports? Or?
Never had time.
Yeah.
Always working. Never had time. Where we started out was in the bush, and that's pretty well where I ended up.
Yeah.
You know, there was no, if you lived in town and you have it, when we lived in the Blayberry there, we couldn't afford to drive kids to hockey and stuff, you know, all the time. Didn't have the money.
Yeah.
They didn't seem interested either.
But Randy did get into it a little bit.
He coached little kid, the boys.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Except August.
That's good for him to be out there.
Oh, he's mad because he's
Yeah.
outside. Oh, okay.
He wanted out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But while you were in the Blayberry, you must have had animals, because Susan certainly picked up her love of horses from
yes,
somewhere, right?
We had cows.
Yes, she said, she kept saying, I want a horse. I want a horse. So Mr. Batten, remember Bill Batten?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he lived around the corner there, and he had an old skid horse, and he was gonna take it to the glue factory. It was an old horse. And I said, "Oh, what you want for that horse?" And he said, "Well, give me $5." So, so I took old Bill and walked him over to our place, and I said to Susie, "You show me that you can do something with that horse, and I'll get you a better one." So within a week, she had that crazy old horse out jumping over a log in the pasture.
She had them all trimmed up and
Yeah, all. So we bought her a little gray Rio. Well, you might have remembered the Rio. He trained a lot of kids, or she did. It was a beautiful little gray horse.
And the Rusty and Charlene were babies just walking around. They would walk underneath him and everything. And he never moved.
Yeah.
He was good.
I bought that from Red Scott's brother. He lived in town up, right up here where the, I think where the town
Town
has their
thing,
work
yeah.
station
Oh,
there now.
Yeah.
He was in there, had that little horse, boy, nice horse. But Susie was happy then, and she still had it. Yeah, her and her daughter, Carla.
The horses now, what you buy, she buys, isn't $150 horses.
No. No.
She's got her last one for sale because it's done everything that they need. I guess there's some girl, some person hoping that the horse is good. They're gonna have it all checked out for their girl because
Yeah.
she's right at the right age where she'll take everything because the horse does it all.
Right.
Right.
And then what does Susan do? Buy another one?
Oh, and then she's got another one, but
Oh,
it's got to be trained yet.
a young-
okay.
young horse.
Yeah.
But she's, there's no money, you just spend money, but,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's what they like to do,
Yeah.
do it.
And
That's
they
been her
get
passion.
lots of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got racks of those big buckles
Yes.
and numerous things from taking first and
Yeah.
second, and she goes down to states sometimes, and competes down there.
Yeah, she does very well with it. I remember that first old horse. That must have been the only one that we doubled on. I remember her taking us doubling on her horse, going
Yeah.
riding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Old Bill.
Yeah.
I don't know what ever come of.
I don't know. We sold them to somebody else that their kids were riding them,
Oh,
and I hated horses with a passion.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, right from the time I was little, I hated horses.
and
Ended up with
Marilyn,
horses in my yard.
Marilyn and the kids, they were always talking, they'd see other kids riding and that, so we didn't have a horse at that time, and I had a 2-year-old
Calf.
calf. Had him in a pen out in the barn there. So I took the kids out and I set them on the calf, and of course they'd ride around in the inside the. Well, Marilyn got on there, and that darn animals had enough of that. It was right out through that, knocked the bar down and right out into the pasture. Marilyn went flying. God, I felt bad. She was holding her side, and I thought, oh my God, I done it this time. But that's as far as she went for riding. That was it.
Yeah. Then we had pigs. Named the pigs.
Yes, I remember
named the
pigs.
calves. So
Yeah.
so if you were going to butcher them, they had to walk out in somebody else's yard.
Yeah.
They bought them because we couldn't butcher them. Then we had chickens, and we went away for a weekend, and Margot always fed the rooster, always out of her hand. When we come back, the rooster's on the step dead, and we had Marilyn Callu who across the road was feeding them, and she said he won't eat. He wouldn't eat. All he did was sit on that step waiting.
Yep.
And he died.
Died right there.
Oh.
Yeah, had pigs. Kids had little pigs. They brought them in the house. You know, play.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You look back.
Yeah, I know. I remember those days. I remember the slop pails. I remember the cream coming in and you separating.
Oh, separating the cream, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden, the cat's on my back, wanting the hot milk. Oh, yeah.
The one thing I really miss, we used to put on a Christmas party there for all the neighborhood, and that thing grew. Our kids used to bring all the grandkids, Marilyn bring her kids from Vancouver even. And it ended up the last Christmas party, there was over 100 people there.
Wow. I got a letter. I still got it from a little kid, thanking us for the party, and because Santa
We
Claus
used to-
always came.
Santa Claus,
Oh,
I built
yes.
I built a cutter, a horse cutter for Santa Claus. Don, of our son-in-law, he used to be Santa Claus. The girls bought a real good Santa suit,
Yeah.
and
Don was, and Kyle, he said to his mother, he said, Mom, that's Uncle Don. She said, no, it's not. Yes, that's Uncle Don. So that night, when the kids went home afterwards, Larry put the Santa Claus suit on, and Don drove the skidoo. They were going around to all the kids. And Kyle seen that, and he said, oh, that wasn't Uncle Don, I better go to bed. But the one that was really nice coming through the field from Robinson's, and the snow, it was just beautiful. And then when the horse took the Santa Claus back, it just like the clouds went behind him. It was
It
beautiful.
just faded into snow.
Nice.
We have that on tape.
We had lots. I went through how many jugs of canners full of hot chocolate.
Oh,
There was no liquor allowed,
yeah.
and the kids, they had a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. Missed that. A
Yeah.
lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Start a month ahead on the ice on the pond,
Oh yeah.
but then it'd freeze at night and the water coming down the creek would overflow and it'd be all ripples.
Oh
Have to start all over again
yeah.
to get it ready for the. But then if the kids, the Maryland boys, if they'd come a few days early, well, they'd help.
Yeah.
Yeah, they enjoyed that.
Best place to go skating or swimming. My first leech was in that one.
Yeah, there was lots of beaches.
And Margaret would swim in there, and there'd be little garter snakes swimming with them, and everybody else was out of the water. Not Margaret. Didn't bother her. Yeah, we had some good times.
Kids get used to that.
Yeah. Yeah, for
And then
sure.
Larry Magnuson come down with his big wagon and
Yeah.
go all around singing and
They go
Christmas
all-
carols, and we'd do the loop.
Oh.
And all the little kids thought that was just great.
Yeah, and the parents would go along. Who was the other fellow who used to bring his Clyde silver
He passed away just lately.
from across the river? Oh, can't
I know who you're thinking of. I can see his picture in my head,
Yeah.
but I cannot, for the life of me, remember his name.
His one boy, what's his name? Jamie? Oh,
Oh, Lyle Campbell?
Lyle
Yeah,
Campbell.
There you
there's that's a good one.
Yeah.
And that's not even who I was thinking of. So
Yeah, but
You got
he was
it.
the first one. He brought his Clydes down and that, and then he came from the other way. Well, and then all of a sudden somebody said, "Here's Santa Claus." Well, the kids just went.
Yeah.
The first
used
one,
to-
they really went wild.
They used to dress him over at Roy Robinson's and get the horse ready, and Roy, here it come, and Santa Claus in the sleigh.
Yeah, yeah, we had some.
The screaming, I can still hear them kids.
Especially, the first time being out in there.
And the ladies would all bring a little bag of something.
No names on the bags, but they had stuff in, and then that was all given to Santa Claus ahead of time. So.
Yeah.
ah, yes.
Yeah,
And then to go out there, we brought goodies, hey? We had two long tables right full of goodies and the hot chocolate.
Barney Barson
Was the last Santa Claus, Barney.
a couple of years there.
Yeah.
He was very good at it too.
Sounds like a great event.
It was.
Yeah, it was a good thing. Lots of ladies from town brought their kids out there.
Oh, yeah. We let it be known that anybody could come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Car to be lined up all along the road. Yeah, that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Worth it.
Worth it to see
Yeah.
all the kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, is there anything else that you'd like to add? Some great story or?
About maybe some single gentlemen that are.
Oh yeah, that's something we've been asking people to try and help us remember. Is there were a lot of bachelors in the area, a lot of old bachelors who didn't have families to remember them, And if there's somebody that you can think of that you'd like to share
Well,
a little
one
bit
that-
about.
There's one that always stuck in my mind was Axel Lindbergh. He lived on where Batten's property is there now, in a little cabin there. Used to drink a lot. But yeah, he was a good old guy when he didn't drink. But he'd get a little mean when he was drinking. But we used to actually give him a little money, remember, to
Well, he used to come and
look after our
look after the
place.
place if we went away.
Right.
Take the kids over to Alberta and see
And
their
he'd-
grandparents.
He'd stay at the house. We told him to stay at the house. So, because in them days you never locked the door.
Right.
And we went, then when we come home, I said, "Don't get my kids ready for bed." And he said, "Come on, bedtime." The dog goes and jumps in one of the beds. I said, He slept in one bed and Axel slept in the other. Then we had old Joe that lived on the other side of us.
Yeah. Well, Joe was a very kind person. He didn't drink or nothing, but he had been up in the top of the Blaeberry Valley there working for somebody, had a little mill up there.
Sloan.
Sloan, yeah.
Yeah.
And when it shut down, he was kind of up again, and he didn't have any vehicle. And there he was, it's sitting up there in the cabin. So somebody that knew him said we were selling some lots from our place there along the highway there, or along the main road there. And said to come and see us. So we were selling 3-acre lots there, the Kelly's trailer court and all the way down there.
Oh, right.
So when Joe come, he didn't have much money, and I said, well, we'll split one of them into a 2.5 acre lots just to help them out. And they moved the cabin on there,
Yeah.
did they, or did
Yeah,
we?
they moved the cabin down for him.
Yeah. But anyway, between everybody there, we got him on there and give him a place to live. Poor old guy, I was working at the time for Domtar, had a pole yard over here, and I worked there for a while. And I'd leave early in the morning, and this one morning I just started off with the vehicle there, and here was Joe under a tree, and it was raining like crazy. Had a big overcoat on, and I said, "What's the matter, Joe?" He said, "I'm sick, I don't feel good." And I said, "Well, I'll take you to the hospital." So I took him in, and he ended up, they sent him to Edmond, he died there.
That's all right.
Yeah.
He was, he lived in where the Buffalo Ranch is, right? The
No.
first.
No,
Well,
where
where
Randy
Randy-
Johnson lived.
On Randy.
Yeah, isn't that where the Buffalo?
It's down behind.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the cabin out front
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And what was his last name?
Do you know, we don't know. I can't remember it.
I don't know what it was, we just knew him by Joe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was sure a lot of the old timers, single old timers
Yeah.
around the valley. As we've been talking to people and asking them to remember,
Yeah.
there's always one or two that everybody
People
can think
were
of.
lost in the cracks, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't have anybody to remember them. And when you guys are gone,
Yeah.
there will be nobody who remembers them. So
Yeah.
it's good to be able to capture that while we can.
Well, you got 16 years left for me.
He says he's going to
Count on
live
that.
another 16 years.
Okay,
You're going
good.
for the 100?
101.
101.
Ah.
101, okay.
Good.
That's fine by me.
Well, or more and more that's an option, right? Or I shouldn't say an option. More and more it's a possibility.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
for
there
sure.
people are definitely living a lot longer now and in better health, and
Oh,
evidenced
yeah,
by
we
you
were-
guys being married 65 years.
Yeah, we were sitting on watching the news. This was it in the spring? No, just before Christmas, and they said 100th, wishing 100th birthday to Susan Elliott. Well, we couldn't believe it. We figured she was gone long ago.
You mean our grandma?
Grandma
Yeah.
Oh,
Elliott's.
for goodness
Yeah,
sakes.
forgot to tell you that.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even know she was still alive, actually.
Yeah.
We were shocked.
Huh.
Because she was in pretty bad shape last time we'd seen her
Yeah.
when we went down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So 100, huh? And where is she? Was she still in Mission?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
they said mission,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so there must be a place there for elderly people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, her and father, they couldn't see eye to eye, so he came over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he was one that wanted to sit.
Yeah.
And she was one that wanted to do stuff. She said, "You don't want to sit in a chair. You got to get out and do stuff."
Yeah.
Well, that's the way we are. We said, "You got to get out.
Yeah.
You can't sit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
sure.
don't know. Some people reach an age where they've been active, and Dad was all his life.
Yeah.
And he got up in years a little bit, and he said, "I've done enough."
Yeah.
So he quit.
Yeah.
I said, "Dad, you should get out." And what do I want to do that for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know why? Because
Yeah.
look at, you're an example. You're out walking every day, and you're living healthy enough lives
Yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot in your mind.
Yes.
Absolutely.
There's lots to do yet, and lots to see, and people to visit. And
Yeah.
And let's face it, we now have a whole new breed of doctors that can help diagnose things earlier, and they can take care of us in ways that couldn't have happened 50
Yeah.
years ago even. So,
Yeah.
you know, they're helping us to lead healthy lives longer,
Yeah.
which, you know,
Yeah.
we don't always like to give them credit.
No.
Yeah.
But it's true, you know,
Yeah.
that society is definitely set up more to
Yeah.
help us live longer now.
yeah, our doctor's sending me this Friday down to Calgary
For a stress test.
for stress.
She
for my
wants
heart.
to come to do a stress test.
I told Mom they'd probably sue me for wearing the bearings out on that.
Good for you. You do that.
For you, you do that for sure.
I wish.
You know, I think the mental attitude is everything, really.
Oh, I do too.
You know,
yeah.
with health. I think
Oh,
if
yeah.
you want to live and
Yeah.
you know, continue to do things like walking and stuff towards that,
Yeah.
those two combinations are
Yeah, oh
huge.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I think you have to be interested in things,
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Sport,
Yeah.
hobbies,
Yeah.
walking.
You
Try
have
to
to keep
keep
your-
your weight down and eat right.
Yeah.
And that's why we go to the seniors.
Yes.
Mingling with people, different kind of people. And
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
very active now. What are you all involved with? With this, you do.
we go to the bingo, and
We go to-
he helps out the seniors.
Yeah,
Well,
because you're their soup day.
I started the horseshoe club in Golden here in 92. While that was going on, I joined the seniors too. And I'm still with the seniors, but the horseshoe kind of dwindled down. I'm wondering what'll ever happen to that beautiful piece of property.
I know. I'm wondering too. But I did see yesterday or day before on Facebook that there's a group of people calling themselves a horseshoe group again,
Oh yeah?
and they were looking for people to come out and play maybe tonight. I think Wednesday night.
Yeah, we were playing last week and I was playing cards. And I seen a young fellow over there cleaning the cement walks. I'll have to go down and see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, I'm always surprised when something like that is set up so well
Yeah.
that younger people aren't there to, you know, enjoy what's
Yeah.
there and learn about the game.
We got
Yeah, they were looking for horseshoes actually. They said they needed some extra sets of shoes that they could purchase reasonably, or if you could bring your own shoes out to play. So yeah.
Yeah.
we had, other than your own personal shoes that you used, we had a bunch for kids that used to involve the school kids. And they used to come down, so we bought them one from
Home hardware, or not, True Value.
John's
John.
Hardware.
Yeah.
And they were fairly cheap, I think $28 something for a set. A set of four. And the steaks, yeah, but we didn't need that. But anyway, we belonged to the Horseshoe Association in Interior, BC. We gave those extra shoes to Salmon Arm Club to help them out.
And any money that we have left when the club closed, we gave
$2,400
$2,400 to the Rockets.
Yeah. Wow.
to the hockey club.
Yeah.
It was too bad. It really bothered me a lot before I gave up. Because I just couldn't keep it. Nobody caught me.
Yeah.
I'd go down there. I always went early, cleaned the walkways and dug up the pits. And
The tournaments were nice.
Loud cup.
Yes.
You always get.
Yeah.
Anyway, there again, things don't go on forever.
No, they
No.
don't. But sometimes they just need a break too, and a
Yeah.
whole different set of people to come in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and maybe that's what's going to happen now.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see that revived because
Yes.
you're right. It's a beautiful piece of property. You guys did such a good job getting it, in there and managing to keep the trees in the process. And
Well, they have to keep the trees.
yeah,
The town asked us to save all the trees we could.
Yeah.
And I told them at their town meeting there that we would save, the only trees that would come out is where the hopefully small ones, and we move the pits. Like it's legal to have the pits, I think it was 10 feet between stake to stake, but ours is much more. So we move them over to, well, there's only one tree we have to take out there and take a pitch, things like that. So,
yeah.
and we were really well thought of in the circuit.
Because of the trees, and the other place you're in the glaring sun.
Yes. That's
We
right.
used to go and play in Vernon. And, let's see, played Vernon,
Winfield.
Winfield, Salmon Arm. And we used to come down from
And
Merritt.
Merritt.
Yeah, well, they'd come the other way. And it was a lot of fun. First time I ever went was with the senior group. I played out on the island, Campbell River, numerous places.
That first time he ever went on the seniors, he had just got over that virus, and shoes bothered him.
Oh,
So they weren't going to let him play because he was barefoot. But they
couldn't stand to have my
couldn't stand the
socks,
shoes
shoes
on.
on. That was at Campbell River.
Campers. So they done some talking, and they said, okay.
People were, look, God, bare feet. But it felt so cool on my feet.
Yeah.
That's the first time that I've ever seen a world champion. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Just ringer after ringer after ringer.
And when we went to the one in Calgary that you were playing in horseshoes, that was they had two teenagers, perfect scores,
Is that
and one of them only had one arm. I
played-
watched them all ringer after
I
ringer.
played in the world championship in Red Deer.
Yeah, Red Deer.
Red Deer. But that's when Jack Leslie died, and I dropped out and come home. Couldn't put my mind to it.
Yeah.
But there was great players there. They come from all over the states.
So what is the count for a perfect horseshoe game?
A perfect horseshoe game. Get my mind working there. We used to go to 40 points.
40, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there was 3 and a close the closest one is one.
Okay.
The oldest player we watched playing was, he was 103.
103 years old.
Yeah. And he'd
Samurai.
come to the horseshoes and he'd say, "That daughter of mine was at the house again. No, I can't find nothing." Because he lived alone.
That was him.
And he says, "I go to the dances and these poor women are sitting." So he says, "I dance all night because I dance with all of them."
He beat Jack Leslie. I got him playing, and he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He played against the old fellow.
Yeah.
And Jack said, "He beat me."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in.
He finally took his driver's license, so he's 104. He didn't
Oh,
like that
wow.
one bit.
No, I'll bet he didn't.
But his son had to bring him to the grounds.
Finally died at 105.
Yeah, he fell and
Yeah.
died.
I got a picture somewhere. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's for sure. I remember many of tournaments out at your farm
Yeah.
with everyone getting together, and there was music and horseshoes, and
Yeah.
it was always fun.
Bocce ball for the kids.
Yeah. Yeah. We always had a great time.
When we had the tournaments here, to save those trees, I wouldn't let nobody cut a tree down. And they'd wiggle those campers in between them trees, back them in there. We'd have 30, 40 pitchers, ladies, and men. Yeah, there again was a lot of work, but enjoyable.
Well, I'm a firm believer that if you want your community to be a great place to live, then you need to be prepared to do your part to make it
You
happen.
got it, you betcha.
And it sounds to me like you've definitely done your part.
I say it over and over, if you're gonna live there, do something for it.
Yeah.
I always remembered that saying. What the heck was that? I wrote it out for Joe's wife at the seniors there, but she never used it. What the heck was that saying? Anyway, it was a good one, and that's what it meant.
Yeah. Yeah, we really do need people who are willing to contribute their time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I worked with the Rockets for a long time, but I retired this year.
You sure
Really?
Yeah, I really did. And I'm looking forward to getting back in the stands and watching games. And
Yeah.
You know, seeing it from
How
a
long
different
you been in,
I've been at the museum 25 years.
is that right?
Yeah, this year
We
it's
still haven't
25
got there.
years.
We're
And-
coming.
Yeah, good, good. And yeah, I was with the Rockets organization for 14 years. And then I was on the Parson Hall board for 7 or 8 years. And I'm a member of Golden Community Resources Society. And I love the work that I do with them, and I will continue to do that as long as I'm able, because it's just so good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always amazing how many people will join something and all they do is take.
Yes.
They go there because they like doing this or that, and that's all they do.
Yeah.
But they don't. Like we go down every Thursday, we make the coffee at 10:30 in the morning. We go back and play the games, and then I always clean the coffee pot out, and Lou Bergenham, he does the dishes and make sure they're clean.
Well, it used to be Dolores, but she can't do it now. So.
No.
And on soup day, I always put the sign out down the street there, and Ramona and I put up the tables and chairs. We've done that for
I don't know how many years.
but there's people that go there and they just don't do anything.
And they're the reason that clubs and organizations fail, or that they fold up.
Yeah.
You know, I think about the Kinsman Club. They ran in our community for years and years,
Yeah.
and they did so many great things for the community.
Yeah,
And then they just couldn't get people to come and, you
Yeah.
know,
No, people
take
can't be
part.
bothered to.
No.
No.
but there's like you say, there's a handful of people that will keep on, and there's been many good ones at the seniors there.
Yeah.
That work their bums off there, you know, to keep it going.
Yeah. I'd like to do more with the seniors, but as long as I'm working, I can't.
Yeah.
Because everything happens in the daytime,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
at work.
Well, I was on the board there for numerous years, for about 14, I think.
Yeah.
And on the maintenance end of it. But I do other things, like putting up chairs and tables in maintenance, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it.
He does that. He told Irene he'd help out when he, you know.
Chris just stepped down, Chris Gates.
Oh, yes.
And Joe,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they were at it for a long time too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they did a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Worked hard.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah. So I think our last question for this time with you guys today is, what is your favorite thing about living in Golden?
Mine is, well, the whole community, it's friendly. And you go uptown, everybody speaks, they don't, you know. And the people that work in the stores, I think, are really good.
Definitely friends.
It's very friendly.
Yeah, and I never get tired of looking up. I was just, in fact, this morning on our walk, looking up at those, when the sun hits those mountains on the snow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I
you
remember
know,
the first time your mom come here. She hated the mountains.
Oh, yes.
Now she goes to Alberta. She hates it
Hates
over there.
Alberta.
She's got to get back into the mountains.
She still doesn't like driving through the canyon, though.
Oh, my sister was terrible the first time she come here. She hid. They wouldn't even look out the windows.
Yeah.
She hid in the car until they got through.
Our relatives always went around radium.
Yeah.
this town and the area and the people been good to us. Good to us. Good place to raise kids.
Yeah.
It is.